Hello everyone, this is still a game. For a long time and the appearance of this project in the information field, the impression was created that we would get, in the end, just an online seminar, and the authors also threw up disappointments in the project by releasing more and more cring TikToks and shorts. I haven't been so mistaken for a long time. Golden Lane Studio swung at some incredible level of development, but we definitely don't lack pathos and ambition. Let's discuss in order and carefully what KandyLand is. It is a single-player horror game at an extremely early stage of development in which we have to use cunning without direct confrontation to defeat once favorite characters who once upon a time brought joy to the main character in childhood, but now he, as an adult man, he destroys mechanical cabins while trying to escape from the park he happened to end up in. Just out of banal nostalgia, partly reminds me of something. Welcome to KandyLand, the cutest place on earth, home of the most delicious candies and thrilling rides. This fun for the whole family is very reminiscent of the madness of Willy Wonka and his chocolate factory, don't you think? Well, with a little more trash from the factory of Edward Ludwig from the Poppy Playtime franchise, being a lonely guest of the park, we relive our cherished childhood memories. But instead, we fall into the trap of a frightening game of survival. We need to outsmart our favorite characters who once brought us joy and escape from this captivity. These weirdos will do everything possible so that we never want to leave. But who they are and what exactly they will do is a really big question. It seems to me that the authors are making the impression that we have been familiar with their franchise for 10 years already, as if it were some kind of FNAF. But the truth is that it will all be completely new and will fly into our mouths too quickly. If you understand what I'm talking about. In KandyLand, so to speak, the ENT was studied only by its script writers. The players still don't understand anything. But perhaps this is some kind of cunning, or maybe even a smart decision to start the race immediately from second gear and try to catch up with the mastodons. And at the same time, one more question. What will they? Developers are busy. Should they take us over? Let's say FNAF developers have a deep ENT invented by fans. Poppy Playtime has a good technical component of development and a unique gameplay feature in the form of gloves that Ban has. And Ban has a quadcopter named Leoka. But it is still absolutely known that we will use some special devices which we will meet along the way in each location, looking at the only secrets of the amusement park. Each character from the cinematic and gameplay shown to us has special abilities. Most likely it will be unique to eliminate, but the basis of all the foundations of the game will be the same puzzles familiar to us. Also, the author hints that the player will have to hurry, because that if we hesitate, it might be too late. What could this mean? Suddenly the game will have an R concept, like in some death loop where we will have a lot of butt and an open world, and poking every time in every corner we will think through the ideal escape route. It could well become a killer feature of the game, if it were so. But this is my theory and assumption that, as for the technical component, the game is definitely made on the 5th Unreal Engine. Volumetric lighting, deep shadows, beautiful reflexes and reflections. All this is at a decent level. Along with high-quality models, the picture is really pleasing to the eye and it looks like a good cinematic. But no, the gameplay also seems to please insane design of the characters themselves. And well, a little bit of the environment made in the previously voiced style of Willy Wonka. By the way, his local analog in the background says in a voice that he never planned for this to happen. Well, the classics all went wrong. Control and off we go. So now in solo, it's raking it. Where the police are looking in all these franchises, and we keep in mind that our developers are so, let's say, difficult guys, so another layer that's worth thinking about, we should always keep in mind what our developers are. So let's say these guys are not ordinary guys. They tried to jump into the gaming industry with the goal of simply raising money, namely, to farm wallets using the introduction of NFT. But the concept of NFT itself went to one place, and apparently the developers simply could not loot the easy money. But they also abandoned the project halfway through. But they didn't dare, most likely, having seen the success of their competitors, they decided to bring their brainchild to the point of madness, which was a shock for me personally. And perhaps for you, write in the comments how much you went nuts when you saw the trailer that came out. Today, I seriously didn't think that this would be a game. It's alive. Come on. Along the way, we'll also collect facts that we already know quite well. How long have been known from the KandyLand franchise? There are several characters, not all of them were shown in all their glory. There are pretentious guys whom we want to know in more detail, but also the default 4 guys in the main roles. Most of the information is known about the 4 animatronics. About the Kangaroo NDI, who seems to be the main one in our squad, and he is somehow connected with the local refueling from the amazing digital circus. A review of which, by the way, is also on the channel further, the Candy girl Suzy giving away the vibe of some game like Lollipop Chins crossed from FNAF sister location. In fact, this is the main mascot, from which they began to present the game, actively emphasizing the femininity of the character. Then there is a funny at first glance clown with Belle's name Smiley with a skewed clownish look, apparently extremely mobile, and a dynamic character with long legs that stretch like a mommy from Poi PTA copy, but they didn't say it completely. Well, what can I also say? There are Tuki Tolkien. Tuki Tolkien is not the same Tolkien who wrote the book, and who is like a toucan. Maybe you will be able to catch the vibes of the chicks from FNAF in him. Well, somehow he looks too stupidly harmless. In essence, he is a magician, one of the most nondescript and, to me, childish characters in design. And he also has a stick that he holds in his hand, and it's, well, how can I say, smeared? You understand? Yes, personally, my favorite, this robotic colossus with round ears and pluses and minuses in the eyes. An appearance similar to Mickey Mouse on steroids arouses a certain interest. I would like to see what this mountain of metal muscles is capable of. Probably the only character in the trailer from which one feels weight and massiveness, which is accompanied by sound and visuals, of course, captivates and makes him the most interesting to study. Even in the footage of running along the corridors, an animatronic of a tall clown was shown, which is definitely taller than Smiley. In principle, twice as large. But as if it was a complete copy of him. Also, this character stands among the containers, looking out and shining his red A's at use. So apparently our friends mentioned above will have some more pumped up versions that came off the assembly line, like Suzy, for example, will definitely have a version with the one that fell off. We were having fun when suddenly something goes wrong, and their minds are taken control by a mimic. Oh, okay, that's it. Sorry, I can't resist, and you can't compare these universes. So in this story, the animatronics are hacked by an unknown hacker in a Mickey Mo mask. What is it? Wait a minute, personally, my favorite. This is a robotic Mahi. So who will be that giant Mahi? Apparently in this story. We will also have a plot based on living souls of the mind, or asses inside other metal asses. Well, you understand. A person is stuck in a car, and do you think the third time it will be interesting? That's enough comparisons, but I'm waiting for your answers in the comments. So Mickey is driving our guys crazy, and most likely, when will we cross paths with them? Then we will not eliminate them, like the bloodthirsty protagonist from POPTA. Most likely we will treat them or reflash them in order to join forces before the final boss. But again, this is a pitchfork in the water and just a theory. I also want to pay attention to the fact that Suzy had in the first teaser, the color of the body was different, and there was a different backlight in the pupils. But in the extreme cinematics shown, her design underwent slight changes, and somehow her hair became more like pasta or something. It seems to me that the original version was organically sweeter or something. In this way, we get to what I think is the most important part of the discussion of the KandyLand franchise, namely the uncertainty. The developers rushed so much from idea to idea, from style to style, that incredible confusion is still being created from what is happening. The characters are trying to be creepy and trendy here, They are scary, and here they are performing challenges and dances from TikTok alone, and the same scenes were equally animated, but with the participation of different characters in different settings, as if they were simply using assets or animation layouts. Play of the game seemed to be shown quite a long time ago, but it looked extremely clumsy. And then it was as if it was removed from the official channel, saying that there would be a series, and then they say again, look at the Steam page, they offer to add the game to your wish list. Well, okay. I really hope that behind the scenes of production, someone will still keep the developers under a tight rein and bring everything to a single solid core. I don't want confusion and holes like in the first ones, parts of FNAF. Hurt me a little gameplay. Let's get a little more detailed so far. Everything that was shown is not very similar to the real recording of the gameplay, but more like some kind of pre-render with locations. Yes, on the game engine, but just a flying camera simulating gameplay apparently. The game itself has not yet been assembled in its entirety. Yes, turmoil, yes. And it seems to me that it is being developed completely from the wrong end. The concept and style still prevails very much. The gameplay mechanics in all the videos and all the frames have never shown us at least some gameplay features of the game and have never shown how we will interact with a world of puzzles, surroundings, and enemies. All that we are shown are models of models among the scenery and scenery, which again raises suspicions and questions, the main emotions that accompany the path of KandyLand. Well, what a pretentious golden logo ad. I think the trailer for Deadpool 3 was not as pretentious as KandyLand. I will follow the news and events on the KandyLand franchise. I will promptly make reviews and cover the news. I expect theories and opinions from you about KandyLand. I recommend that you also evaluate my other videos on the channel. And to you personally, thank you for watching the video to the end. And I will flood the next one your video. So subscribe and ring the bell for everyone. Well, don't forget to click on the video in the middle.